All right, before we get into the video, we're chasing 100,000 YouTube subscribers, so help us out. Click the subscribe button. Join us on the journey.
Back to the 1 o'clock window. Buffalo Bills at the New England Patriots. Bills favored by 1.5, despite being 2 games behind the Patriots. 11-2, New England, 9-4, Bills. Patriots have a chance, as you mentioned earlier, to clinch the AFC East for the first time since Brady left in 2019. The other fascinating storyline about this, not only has Buffalo owned the East since 2020 over the last few years. Remember last year, the schedule quirk. The first time these two teams played, Buffalo had already had the division clinched before their division rivals even played. They played in week 16 and 18 last year. And by this time last year, Buffalo had already clinched the division, like 2 weeks ago. So things have changed. And it's another test for New England. Prove that it's definitely been an easier schedule. They ticked this box earlier in the year, beat Buffalo on Sunday Night Football. They beat Tampa in Tampa. They've won some big games. But it's the next test for New England to prove that they're legit here at 11-2.
Yeah, it's an interesting rematch, I think, because the first game felt like, to me anyway, it felt like a game where Buffalo was the better team, but they shot themselves in the foot a few times, and the Patriots made a few of those high-leverage plays, and playing relatively mistake-free football was enough to win that game.
Sloppy first half.
Yeah, it was more like Buffalo had the potential to win that game, and then because they made mistakes and the Patriots didn't, the Patriots therefore won. And that's fine, but you're like, does that happen again? And then the Patriots sort of built on that. Like, that was their first sort of statement game of the season where it's like, oh, actually, this might be for real. And then they go off in this run and, rattle off all these wins and various different tests against various different quality of opponent. And Buffalo sort of bounced back and forth, has had some bad games, had some good games since that point. But the last couple of weeks, they were very impressive against Pittsburgh. Their offense, at least, was very impressive against Cincinnati, and at least the defensive performance you can put down to, that's going up against Burrow and Chase and blah, blah, blah. So, like, if Josh Allen shows up and has the Superman version of Josh Allen game that he had last week, I don't know if the Patriots can live with that. That's going to be what's interesting. Like, Allen didn't play like that the first time. Like, he made some mistakes. The Bills generally made some mistakes, and that was enough for the Patriots to play clean football and win. If Allen plays like he did against Cincinnati, that's going to be interesting because the Patriots obviously have shown that they're a very good football team. But can they rise to that level if Allen is playing like that?
But on the other side, what also happened in that game? Drake May had a game-winning drive. Where at the time, Drake May legacy drive, but it kind of set the tone for the rest of the season. Can you beat Buffalo? He broke free from a sack, made a huge play, made 3 or 4 big time throws down the field in crunch time against the Bills. My question is, Buffalo in these big games, because if you're a Bills fan, you're sitting there, you're like, man, why are we 9-4 this year? Why did we lay an egg against Miami and against Atlanta? Like, you had these bad games. But is there a team, let's say Kansas City's out of the playoff picture. Is there an AFC team that you trust more than Buffalo in a big game in the AFC? And I know I'm saying big game, and people are going to say, well, they've never made the Super Bowl, but no one else has. If Kansas City's out, no one else has either. So who do you trust more than the Bills as like a 5 seed in the playoffs? And so we're a couple weeks away from seeing that potentially unfold here.
But narrative.
My point here really quick is Buffalo, and this is now a big game, right? Like, was the Sunday Night Football game for the Bills against the Patriots a big game for them through their lens? Like, they're the hunted, right? Now they got to show that they still belong in the AFC East. This is one of those games where Allen could take over. I got to respond to Plato in the chat really quick, who tells us that he addressed me directly. A Felga and Maz caller put $1 million on the Pats money line yesterday. A caller to Felger and Maz, I believe it's still the top show up in the Boston area, radio. Usually join those guys for the Super Bowl on Radio Row once a year. $1 million on Pat's money line.
Yeah.
So just something to keep an eye on.
Good for them. I don't have $1 million to gamble on the NFL. This playoffs is going to be like the Stephen A. Smith side of the everyman narrative is going to have real problems because I don't know where you go with the AFC playoff picture currently. You know, you love to be Josh Allen's not a big game player. He's never been to a Super Bowl. Like, this is a joke. And yet he might be the most proven commodity in the AFC because everyone else is out.
He definitely will be.
Right.
He definitely will be the most
Chiefs
proven
aren't going to be
commodity.
there, probably. The Bengals almost certainly aren't going to be there. The Ravens aren't going to be there. The Colts are now on the way out. Your playoff picture is the Chargers who always choke, the Bills who always choke, the Patriots and the Broncos who are completely unproven in terms of quarterbacks, the Texans who are all, and we're going to be talking about their defense, not their offense, old man Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers, if they're the team that makes it, and then Trevor Lawrence. It's like you're going to, unfortunately, the people that would normally be all, Josh Allen can never win the big game, they're kind of have to be like, well, who else do I saddle my wagon to?
And look, here's the deal for Buffalo. Even if they lose this game, and they're 9-5, they're still probably going to be in the playoffs. And whether they're the 6th seed, the 7th seed, whatever it is, the story's still going to be, if not now, when? For Buffalo, right? Your big roadblock, the Kansas City Chiefs, the team that knocks you out every year, is not there. And so even if Buffalo goes in as the 7th seed and they have to travel to New England, or the 6th seed and they got to travel to AFC South, Jacksonville, or whatever, it's still going to be like they're favored. Buffalo's favored in every game, I think. Again, they're favored against New England, who's 11-2 right now. The only team that might be favored over them is Denver.
On the road.
Right? And yeah, they're on the road to New England and they're favored. Buffalo's going to be favored in every playoff game when they get in, right? So the narrative's going to be, if not now, when? You don't have the Mahomes Chiefs roadblock, so it doesn't matter. You have to go on the road 4 times. Go get it, So it's going to be a fascinating playoff picture. And then from New England's perspective, Drake May's playing great. He's battling for the MVP. They haven't had Milton Williams these last couple weeks. I think that hurts in these big games where you just want that interior disruptor. Mm-hmm. But May's continued to answer the call. I think he's so calm in the pocket. His accuracy has been outstanding. Decision-making has been great. And those were the two. If you had 2 big question marks for May, it was throw-for-throw consistency from an accuracy standpoint, and it was a few decisions here and there. I don't think anybody questioned his ability to make special throws, make plays with his legs, make plays out of the pocket, and he's done all of that. And he's tidied up a few bad decisions. He's tidied up, some misses. And, again, can he do it against Buffalo in a big game? Over-under's 49.5. They're expecting some points. It could be a classic New England, snow game here, 31 degrees, 35% chance of snow. This is going to be a fun one.
First of the potential weather games of the week. It's going to be cold, and it may be snowy as well.
The other thing to keep an eye on, remember Will Campbell, starting left tackle, has been down for New England. Left guard, Jared Wilson. It didn't matter last time we saw them with the Giants on Monday Night Football, but in these games, right, it's Buffalo this week, Ravens next week, probably the 2 biggest challenges for the rest of the season with New England. They still have the feisty Dolphins and the Jets remaining, but just something to keep an eye on, certainly against the Bills front 4. Mm-hmm. Joey Bosa, been banged up as well. Hamstring, might give it a go, but really, we were joking about
Bubble
wrap and save him for the playoffs, but this is one of the games where you kind of need him.
No, it's not.
I don't think Buffalo's chances for the division are so slim. Correct. Obviously, they would need to win this game. They would need New England to slip up somewhere else, and I don't know where the tiebreaker ends up falling. But Buffalo would probably have to win out, have New England at least lose twice, maybe 3 times.
Correct.
And I think that's going to be pretty difficult.
I think in terms of really important, this game is almost inconsequential for the Bills. It's important in terms of showing that last game was a fluke and you're still top dogs, and even if the Patriots win the division and you're still the big man on campus, it's kind of irrelevant for what it actually means for are you winning a January football game or not.
I think where it's most important, that 5 seed. I think if the AFC North winner, which right now is the Steelers, is probably going to be the 4. And technically right now the Chargers are the 5 seed. And so the Chargers would go to Pittsburgh for the first playoff game. I think if you're Buffalo, as a fan, you're sitting there hoping for the 5 seed. Let's go to Pittsburgh round 1. Not that you can't win in Jacksonville,
Right.
or if it's in Houston, right? Houston could still, they've got a couple easy games coming up. Houston could be the AFC South champion.
Houston's the one
If you have to go to
wanna
Houston
get. Yeah.
in a 6-3 game, probably not what you want.
Houston's the one you don't want to get, but again, you have to work on the basis that if you're the Buffalo Bills and you want to win a Super Bowl this year, you can beat any of these teams in the AFC. So, like, who cares?
Anyway, great game. Going to be a lot of fun here. Another game to prove. The Patriots. They're 11-2 and underdogs by 1.5 against the Bills. Where are you going to go with this game?
I'm gonna back basically the idea that the first game was more about Buffalo than it was about New England. So I think the Bills win this.
When was the last time the Patriots lost? Week 3? They're on a run.
Something like that, yeah.
Get the Vrabel factor.
Off a bye? Are they off a bye?
They're off a bye.
Yeah. Vrabel's got some ridiculous record off a bye from his Tennessee time.
I'll take New England as the home dogs. And it's like
Patriots have lost 2 games against the Raiders and the Steelers.
Yeah.
Both in the first 3 weeks.
The Raiders certainly doesn't make sense the way they've played since then,
Right.
because the Raiders played well that game. And they turned the ball over in the tight red zone twice against Pittsburgh to get to that point. Even the Patriots.
You can also argue, though, that this is basically one of 2. They're going to have played effectively 2 difficult games this season, and they're both against Buffalo, based off how good the opponent is.
Yeah.
Like, it's amazing what a cakewalk
Because it's
schedule
they
has
have the
been.
Ravens next week, but it's a down Ravens team.
Right.
When they beat Tampa at the time, Tampa had a nice record, but
Now they don't look
fallen
great.
off.
Right.
Right.
It's actually amazing the cakewalk that this schedule is emerging as.
In MVP narrative terms, this might be the high. Well, I want to say it's like the highest leverage week for MVP. Fully knowing that the human beings are going to forget this next week, but it's like, what's the most recent thing you saw? But with Stafford going against the Lions, May going against the Bills.
I mean, at this
if
point,
you're into the
Stafford's-
MVP race,
yeah,
this is it. This,
at
I
this
mean,
point-
if May and the Patriots win this, I don't know who's the favorite right now, but May could easily be the favorite if he puts up a big game at home against Buffalo and seals the division.
At this point, I think Matthew Stafford's taken a fairly strong stranglehold on the MVP race.
Yeah, but that thing, it's like a horse race, though. Most recent thing that you saw. And it's still probably the highest leverage play. Anyway, Harry and I are both taking New England. You're taking Buffalo.
Thanks for watching all the way to the end of the video.
Check the Mic is live Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, so be sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss a video.
You heard the man. Subscribe.